Hello there, welcome to Yearly Reviews, the show where I review all the games that I've played through the year of 2020. Now, 2020, glad you asked, it's a pandemic, we've got nothing to do, and I was bored. So, without further ado, let's get on to today's review. Recently, there's been kind of a boom in the Cyberpunk setting, especially in video games. After all, at the time of writing this, Cyberpunk 2077 is about to come in a few days, and everybody's obsessed with that. A thing I find interesting is when Cyberpunk goes into video games and mixes with different genres, with the obvious one being action. But I think it's interesting to see someone try to mix it with things like horror. Case in point, Observer. In Observer, you play as the detective Daniel Lazarski in a cyberpunk Poland as he gets the call from his son Adam, which leads him to investigating an apartment complex and the tenants inside. But the other gameplay mechanic of this game, and what makes it a horror game in the first place, is using your augmented body that you can connect to a body's mind and track through that person's subconscious to see the horrifying mess inside. So let's talk about these nightmare sequences then. This is a unique concept that the game has, and although it's not the first game to try this idea, and certainly not the last to try, these are the best parts of the game, and it doesn't really try to scare you with constant jump scares one after the other, almost like a previous game I've reviewed, Layers of Fear. Well then it should come to no one's surprise that this was made by the Bloober team, who created both Observer and Layers of Fear. But aside from those nightmare sequences, what do I think of the rest of the game? Well, I don't think it's the best. Not exactly bad, but a little overrated, judging by my opinion and others' reactions. I find that although it looks visually appealing, the gameplay is a little bit tedious, as you're just getting from the next point to another. On a personal note, when I played this game for the first time, it was the laggiest thing I've played, so there's that to keep in mind. Also, just like Layers of Fear, I don't think the voice acting is a strong point, and that's a shame seeing how you hear it more often when playing the game. Now, I don't think that Observer is a bad game, but is it an overrated game? In my opinion, yes. Aside from looking nice with the nightmare sequences, there's not much for me to really be interested in and can often cause some lagging problems. But hey, maybe it's improved in this new system redo version for the PS5, I don't really know. Truth be told, I only heard they were improving it because it kept being advertised to me on Twitter.